good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. Today, we are going to be getting into a very, I would say, it's a very interesting topic because I don't think a lot of people are talking about this or, aren't bringing it up as much. Maybe not a lot of people care, but I wanted to talk about today video games. I know, crazy. I stream video games over on Twitch, if you don't know that. That's why I did this channel, because I wanted to do other content other than on Twitch. But yeah, over on Twitch I stream video games. Literally, that's what I've been doing for the past 8 years, believe. Yeah, 8 years. 8 years, crazy. I know. And that's all I've been doing on Twitch. That's all I like doing on Twitch is playing video games. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just a lot of fun. It's a good time. But I've been playing video games my whole life, dude. Since I was in elementary school, And today I wanted to talk about how, there's this certain standard for video games now, I've been playing so many video games, and there's so many different ones out there, right? But we've come to a point now where I think when the PS4 dropped and Xbox One was coming out and all these new consoles were coming out, games started getting to a higher quality and standard. And I won't even talk about on PC games, because PC I think kind of keeps it keeps doing that as well, but consoles in general, they've been trying to hit this bar every time. They've been trying to up the ante. And then when the PS5 dropped, which I have one and we're gonna go into that, but when the PS5 dropped and the Xbox Series X or S, or whatever they call the console now, dropped, when that came out, they kept upping the ante. So I think when the PS4 was out, I constantly bought games all the time, no matter what they were. I wasn't so picky with games. I kept buying them like crazy, and it was just, I don't know, I bought as many games as I could. I just wanted to keep playing games. And there was an endless list. I mean, with the I think back then with the PS4, I was so, I don't want to say carefree, but I was so willing to play any game that was out. And it was crazy. It was wild. I think if I'm just probably gonna scroll all the way back, because there's so many, dude. I have so many games on here. It's crazy. Not a ton, but it's crazy. But we'll kind of go into all of this, because it's gonna be the main point of this video, which is, I don't think, at this point now with PS5 and all these next gen games and all these titles that are coming out, my main thing I want to talk about in this video is, I don't think video games are allowed to be bad anymore. So we're going to kind of just jump into it, and talk about all the games that I've played over the years, and just kind of go over how things have changed, and I'll kind of explain it as we go. But let's get into it, man. This is bonkers to me, this, we're going all the way back to when I first started playing on PS4. Dude, I think Lego Marvel Superheroes, I think I played this game. This was way back. I would say, when the PS4 come out, 2013, I think, roughly. I think that's when it came out. It came out around then. That's probably accurate. That was when I was just in high school, just starting out. And I can tell you, the game, I don't think I barely played that, but I can tell you, there's certain video games that aren't for me, and that's the big difference between there's games that aren't for me, and then there's games that are bad. I would say Warframe wasn't for me at the time. If there was a game I didn't touch on here, it was for good reason. There's so many. I'd have to point out I would say Warframe on this was like not for me. Dragon Age Inquisition was not for me. I wouldn't say it was a bad game. I just never finished it or never kept playing it. I just want to find like a bad game because I can like point it out immediately, you know. I'll find one. The pre-sequel. See, I like Borderlands, but I didn't like this one, you know? Like, maybe it wasn't for me. Maybe that's the case. Like, trying to find... It's weird, you know? Like, Dishonored 2 was definitely not for me. There's a lot of games that just weren't for me that I just bought, and I don't know why I did. Like, I'm looking at a lot of, like, this list I'm looking at. I'm just like... Some of these games, I'm like, why did I buy them? Like, Dark Souls 3, I never finished that, or I started it and never finished it because I wasn't into Soulsborne games at the time. Dishonored 2 never, like, it's interesting because there's so many of these titles that, you know, maybe I should have gave a chance but didn't, you know? Like Deus Ex, I think I finished that game. I think, you know? I think I beat it, but I didn't like it. I'm trying to find a bad game. It's hard. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I bought a lot of good games. I finished Quiet Man. I don't think the game was good. I think what Square Enix was doing there was they were trying to do, like, a TV show mixed with a game, which it's hard to do that, but they tried. They did try their darndest, you know? God, if I can find a game I bought that was bad. No Man's Sky? See, that's the thing, like, it was bad at launch, and that's when I got this game, never touched it again. I don't even touch it now, even though, like, I think it's better, but, yeah, I never bothered to play it again. I don't think I'm gonna be able to. Am I gonna find like an actual title that was bad? Maybe? Question mark? It's gonna be hard. I know for a fact I've bought like a terrible game. I had to have. Unless I didn't. Marvel's Avengers. Okay, so. This was Square Enix's game, and they, like, I was hyped for this when it came, like, when it was announced, because not only was it Marvel, like, I love Marvel, it came out on my birthday. Crazy, right? I played it all the way through. I played the campaign. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. And then they were trying to treat it like it was Destiny. Like, they had, like, a whole... It was almost like you were in like, the social space you were in, this little hangar. It was like you were in the tower, and I'm like, no way are they copying Destiny on this. And it was just such a bad game. And I feel like a studio could have taken this game, a different studio could have taken this game and done a way better job. Way better. Because yeah, it was bad. It was a bad time. That's like the pure definition of what a bad game looks like. For sure. Because I don't think there's gonna be a lot others. I don't think. Now we're getting into the PS5 titles. See, this is where I've gotten picky. This is where, like, I think PS4 I wasn't crazy picky. There was like a few titles that I didn't actually finish, but like now we get into PS5, right? And there's a few on here that I didn't play all the way through. So Bugsnax, I don't know why I bought this game. I genuinely don't know why I bought it. I'm kind of sad and mad that I bought this game when it came, like, when it got released. Because it wasn't a good game. It wasn't. It was like one of those like throwaway titles on launch that PlayStation introduced, and I don't know why they did. Sackboy, I'm I think for the most part, I'm glad I actually gave it a whirl, but I didn't like it when I finished it. Like, I was just like, I'm glad I got it out of the way, but it wasn't a terrible game. I think Bugsnax was a bad game. But I think I'm pretty sure every game beyond that, like, I literally gave my all. Like, Hitman 3 I wasn't a fan for. Wasn't great. I do like that, like, I'm very cautious with my choices for buying games. Godfall I liked all the way, like, most of Godfall I liked. But I stopped playing after a while. But yeah, Returnal was okay. Wasn't for me. I played it, like, I think I beat 2 endings and never continued, but yeah. Don't know why I bought Immortals Phoenix Rising. I think that was a mistake of a purchase for me. That's just my take. I shouldn't have bought this game. I didn't like it when I finished it, and I was like, why did I buy this? Like, I don't know why I did. I didn't enjoy it. Not at all. That was like when I was like, I could have done without this. Oh god. Yeah, so I don't know if I beat that one. These 5 titles, I regret buying this. I think I said it wasn't for me. Bullets per minute, I think I said this wasn't for me. The Complex I finished, but like that was like a live action game they were doing, which was very strange. But like these two, this is where I started to realize, like, where I was like, I gotta be more cautious with my purchases, because I started to realize what genres I didn't like, and I just started getting picky. Oh god, are we getting into like the games I just despised? So Recompile, I don't remember too much. I don't think I liked the game. I don't remember. It was an indie title. That's a hard one to remember if I did play it. Riders Republic, I'm not gonna say it was a mistake of a purchase. I just think the game wasn't for me, and now I know I'm never going to get another game like that again. Deathloop, on the other hand, mistake of a purchase. I should never have bought it. They promoted it so much, and at the end of it all, it was garbage. It sucked. I didn't like it. Maybe it wasn't for me. I don't know. I don't think other people liked it, but I don't know. Good game. Good game. Good. Like, I'm trying to find a bad one. Mass Effect I liked. I liked Andromeda more, but the Mass Effect series was good. Sifu was good. Stranger Paradise, I shouldn't have bought that game. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it a buck. That game I should not have purchased. Cyberpunk, shouldn't have bought it. Now we're getting into like, I shouldn't have bought these games. Cyberpunk was one of those where I was just like, I don't know why I bought this, because I played Cyberpunk when everything was patched, when the game was fully fixed to an extent, like it was bug free and it had the PS5 upgrade as well. I played it. I was disappointed with how the game, like, and I don't know, I felt empty after playing it. I think that was the whole thing. But, and that game launched bad, and we're gonna get into that in a second, but shouldn't have bought that game. That was a mistake. Shouldn't have bought that game. That was a mistake. Shouldn't have bought that. That was a mistake. I liked these two though. These two were good. Bound? I don't remember. I don't think I should have bought that game though. Maybe I don't remember that one at all. I don't remember. I think it was a weird one that I didn't like. It was another indie. God, what else? I think like Dreamlight Valley. This game I shouldn't have bought because it was like Animal Crossing, and Animal Crossing I just kind of stopped playing. And yeah, I shouldn't have bought that one. Hollow Knight, I gave it a whirl. I didn't like it. Not for me. This is like I was discovering what games weren't for me and what were. Like Sky Shoulder Light, I don't know why I bought that. I don't know why I bought the game. I think it was actually free. I don't know why I got it. I really don't. I don't think I should have. It shouldn't have been a game that I just bought out of the blue. Unbound, I don't regret buying because it was actually kind of fun, but like I'm not buying another racing game. Sonic Frontiers, it was the first good Sonic game, but could have been better, you know. And now I think so now we're caught up to the PS5 title. So what I wanted to get into, right, and we're just gonna quickly go over this, okay? So the whole thing with video games now is so many are releasing, and there's so many good, there's so many bad. I feel like we're at a point, you know, with all these next gen games coming out, that games aren't allowed to be bad anymore, you know? Like, there's two different types of games, I would say. There's your AAA titles, and then there's your indie titles. We're just going to go into those two categories because it makes this whole thing easier talking about it. Your AAA titles are supposed to be like over the top, like crazy graphics, supposed to be huge games, like Spider-Man, Star Wars, you name it, you know. They're supposed to be insanely good. And then you got your indie titles, which are supposed to be like not crazy graphical at all. They're supposed to be the lowest tier of games, but they're supposed to be good as well. I think if you're going to release a game and it's going to be a bad release, you shouldn't release it at all, right? I think the only place for bad titles of games, like if you're going to release it, if you know the game's going to be bad when it comes out, like if you're a developer and you're working on this game and you're like, oh, this game's going to be bad, and you know that for a fact, release it on Steam. Because I guarantee you, I think releasing it on multiple platforms is kind of a loss. I feel like Steam is like the one place where like you could throw a terrible game on there and someone would play it, right? But I don't know. I feel like the standard for video games is kind of, you know, it's changing. You know, I think maybe like back when the PS4 was out, right, or PS3 was out, it was okay to release bad titles, right? It was okay to do that because people would play anything. But now I'm so picky with what I buy. Like, the game has to be good for me to want to play it. It has to be, like, you know, it has to not be terrible. Like, I pay more attention to reviews now, typically, or I just look at the gameplay and I'm like, do I want to get this? Do I want to buy it? Do I want to waste $70 on a video game? I don't know. You know, it's kind of like, the more recent, like when Cyberpunk came out, I bought that game thinking it was going to be great. There were so many bad reviews on it. I'm like, oh, I just wasted my money on this game. And then like more recently though, like Gollum came out, and that game was like, I've been watching, like, I think I watched a video and a stream on it for just, I wanted to see what it was like, and I'm like, oh no. And it is also out on PS4, so it's like, I get it, but at the same time, like, why did you release it on, you know, why'd you bother pricing it $60? I think that's crazy. And the same thing goes for like Xbox's titles, like Redfall. I'm not an Xbox guy anymore. I used to be. I played on the 360 and I played on the One for a bit, but I swapped over to PlayStation because they have more games. And you know, I swear to God, like if I was playing on Xbox right now, I wouldn't have any titles to play. That's pretty much it. I think that's how that would work. But my main point is that, you know, with Redfall, I was watching someone stream it, and oh my God, it looked really bad. Like it looked like Back 4 Blood, but worse. You know, Back 4 Blood was really good. I love that game. That's a great game. But when I was looking at it, I'm like, did they try to make a really bad Back 4 Blood? It's kind of crazy, you know? I think if a game releases bad, it shouldn't release at all. That's my take. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I'm in the right. I don't know. I think I don't want to waste my money on a title, right? I want to buy a game and I want it to be good on launch. Like right now I'm playing Jedi Survivor, and currently the game's good, but there's some issues. Like there's frame issues, performance issues, graphics issues even. Like I think I had an area that hadn't even loaded properly, and it was still loading, and when it finally tried to load, it almost crashed the game. So it's stuff like that and that's a single player game too, right? It's stuff like that where I'm just like, why did you release it at all? You know, like I think with Jedi Survivor, maybe the game shouldn't have released now. I think that was a mistake. I think they should have delayed it, taken their time to polish it, because clearly they released it unpolished. I don't know. I mean, the game still plays really well, but like there's so many graphical issues. It's wild to me. But yeah, I'm just over buying like bad games. I'm just trying to pay more attention to the game's quality and how good it is. And even like at showcase, like again, there's a difference between like games that are bad and there's games that aren't for me. Like I think at the PlayStation Showcase that they just did, there was like, I'm not going to count Destiny, but I think there were only 3 games that piqued my interest at the showcase, which was Marathon, which is Bungie's new title. There was a game called Sword of the Sea, which is like an indie title, but it looked sick. And then Spider-Man. That was it. Nothing else caught my eye at that showcase. It was kind of like, for me, because I'm sure there's a bunch of people that were like over the moon with some of the games that were on there. For me, it was kind of a sleeper of a showcase. So, but yeah, I'm just super over paying $70 for a title that like here, I'll even show you. I'll even show you my wish list right now, because it's like, where is it? So this is my wish list personally. And this could change. Like I had Avatar on here, New Frontier. I think I'm not gonna buy it just because like, if it's going to be like the Far Cry series from Ubisoft, I'm going to pass. And this list could change. Like, these 2 games, they've been... they got announced when the PS5 dropped. They're still not out. These are the only two games from like the initial PS5 announcement that still haven't dropped yet. And I'm hoping they get like this. I know I'm buying for sure, but I need gameplay for that. But like, Afterlife, like there's a lot of indie titles on here too. Like this is indie. I think that's AAA. That's indie. But these I'm like actually looking forward to. AAA, indie, AAA, Alan Wake 2, Lies of P. Like these are AAA titles that I'm definitely going to buy. AAA. That one actually looks good. It's an indie title. Mobius Machine actually looks kind of good. It's an indie. I'm gonna give it a whirl. X-Defiance, maybe it's a first-person shooter. I wanted to give it a whirl, but yeah, man. I mean, you know, it's wild to me that so many of these game companies release terrible games and they just release them and they come out and then they get bad reviews, and it's like, why did you bother releasing it in the first place? You know, I don't know what else to say other than that. I think, you know, in my opinion, if I were to give advice on video games at the moment, I would just like pay attention to the game, watch for gameplay. If it looks like it could be for you, buy it. But I think there needs to be a guarantee that the game is going to be good on launch. I think terrible video games need to just stop releasing. You know, if you have to delay it to make it good, do it. I think that was like a point during COVID, like people started like just releasing games willy-nilly, and then people would just like, you know, they'd release them willy-nilly, they'd come out bad, and then people were like, why don't you just delay it? Like Cyberpunk, I think there was so much crunch on that game, and it just got released without any delays, and Like, I think my opinion was they should have delayed it and worked on it again, but they didn't. And games like Forspoken, I forgot to mention that because I am still playing that. I got to play the DLC at some point. Because I finished the game. The game was okay. It wasn't the greatest game that got put out, but it got delayed a bunch, and still it was like a mid game, you know. But I think they put it out, and you know it was received poorly. But like, that's the thing. Like, some games can just release bad, even though they've got so much time put into them, which is just wild to me, that a game can just release bad even though they put so much time into it. I mean, that can happen. That's kind of the reality. I mean, even if the game is bad, you should put it out if you've put the time into it. But there's a lot of devs that are just putting their not a lot of effort into the game. And even though I don't know a lot about game development, I imagine like they're not putting a lot of time into the game and they're just releasing it. Like, the publisher or whoever is like, release the game, it's fine, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's fine. Just release the game, players will love it. It's not always the case, but I do think that bad games, they happen. they definitely do happen. Which is why, like, now I kind of wait for reviews, but more so I just watch for gameplay. And if it looks like I wouldn't enjoy it, I don't buy it. That's kind of the case, and that's how it goes. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about video games as a whole because I've been playing them for so long, and now I'm more cautious with my choices because so many games are it's a weird, oversaturated market, and you know, I don't want to be buying video games willy-nilly, and I don't want to buy the wrong game. And yeah, just be more cautious about video games. You know, that's kind of what this whole video was about, just talking about how I don't like that terrible video games are just releasing, you know? Just seeing, like, it's almost saddening to see, like, a bad game come out and it's just like, why didn't you release a good game? You know? But yeah, that's going to be the video for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you did, I appreciate it a ton, and I will see you guys in the next video.